The meeting of the Water Commissioner on Thursday, May 15th, 2025 at 6 p.m. is called to order. And the meeting is being recorded. Chairman Ed Johnson present.
Chairman Dave Mesmore present. Commissioner Dave Mesmore present.
Randy Brown, DPW Director here.
Beryl Wagner, DPW Office Manager present.
Okay, do we have anybody in public comment? Do we have anybody for public comment? Okay, seeing none. Okay, who's the first appointment?
The
Beryl?
first appointment is 1 White Street, Mary Safari.
Okay. Go ahead.
My husband and I were down in Florida and we received a postcard that eventually got to us through mail forwarding. So I don't know how long it took to get to us, but as soon as I got it, I called my plumber and he went over to the location and found a toilet that was stuck and not shutting off,
So,
and he fixed it that day.
Mhm. So when I looked at the water use, the original calculations that I had done did not account for the fact that census does round up. So that's why the number on the front.
is it
I
right?
crossed it off.
It's on page 2, is it correct?
Page
The
2.
abatement,
I highlighted it. It's the 264.
264, that's what she, right there. That's the new calculation. So Randy, when they got noted, they fixed it, Randy? As soon as they-
Well, yeah, so Mr. Carr said it, we sent the notice and I don't know the date, but it was started leaking in October.
Right,
And it was fixed at the end of February.
Yeah.
So during those 118 days, there was 530 gallons of water used a day. And then when they got back after February 25th, that usage got cut down quite a bit. That's what we saw in the leak report.
It first showed up on our leak report January 6th. That's when I sent the first notice. And I think it finally got to you maybe on the 18th of February. So I sent notices each week.
Yep.
Yes.
Dave, you got any? I mean, snail mail,
When you have, well, you figure a lot of times it takes just a week to get it to your regular house and then to go through a forwarding process down in Florida.
I haven't got a problem with
But
it. You?
the day I got it, I
I'll make a
called.
motion. to Accept that. 264?
264.41.
That's the abatement. That's what's being taken off the bill, 264, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I second that. All in favor, Ed Johnson, aye.
Dave Mesmore, aye.
Okay, it's approved, you're all set.
But just to clear, you also have sewer, right? So that'll
Yeah.
be reviewed by the sewer commissioners.
That's on the 19th.
So they're meeting tonight, but what they do is they usually typically follow the lead of the water commissioners.
Mhm.
So, I mean, you're certainly welcome to attend the meeting, but they're probably not gonna ask you for a comment. They'll just follow the lead of the water commissioners.
Okay,
So we can reach out when we know the date of the abatement request. Usually, they usually meet every Monday. But they're meeting today, an odd meeting, and then next week is town meeting, so probably not gonna meet
17th, I believe, is what.
the
Carol
17th.
told, no, I think it's the 19th.
Oh, 19th. I don't know if they're meeting Monday the 19th, because town meeting is on Tuesday,
Yes.
and then Memorial Day is the following week. So
Right.
I don't know what the schedule is between now and then.
But they won't have this information for tonight, so.
No,
No,
they
no, it won't be on the agenda for
So,
tonight, no.
would I get a notification of one more? Yes?
We'll reach out to you once we know.
Okay.
We'll ask the select board when the next meeting is, and we'll.
Yeah,
then
I'll
Jim.
find out now.
Okay.
We can look at the,
Okay.
yeah, 264.41.
Okay, great. All right, I wrote that down.
Okay,
Thank you all so
you're
much.
welcome.
You don't need me to hang around.
No, you bump us along.
Pizza and
Okay, who's next?
Thank you very much.
So next we have 2 Hillcrest Road. It's Don. Let's see,
Goshi.
yeah, Don Gaucher. 2 Hillcrest. So he had a 10 gallon per hour leak in October 13th. And it increased to about 20 gallons an hour, right before Thanksgiving. And it went unresolved until February 1st. So it was almost 44 or a little over 44,000 gallons. It did not show up on our weekly leak report until January 27th. When I sent the first notice, he got that and immediately had it fixed on the first.
So our system didn't pick up on it, you know?
Yeah, which this is one of the accounts we looked into why it didn't show up on our report. And we ended up lowering the threshold so that this wouldn't happen again. It was at 10, and if he had a leak that hit, 9 gallons, it would not put it on the report. So we moved it down to 5.
But as soon as she got notified, they took care of it right away.
Yeah.
Oh, that's, I
Yeah.
mean, that's,
Yeah. Are they on the call? No, they're not on the call. Yeah.
No, they are not.
well, I would say Dave, gotta go with it, right? I mean,
I make a motion to accept.
it's 306.33.
633.
I second that. All in favor, Ed Johnson, aye.
Dave Mesmore, aye.
Motion carries. Okay.
And this will go to sewer department, sewer commissioners as well, right there.
He only has water.
She only has water.
So no.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, she only has water. Yeah.
you're right, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so next is Anthony Gallo and Jessica Guay. So this application is a continuation of a leak that we approved an abatement for. I think it was maybe December or January. They had a leak that was it went April to October of last year. And they were not notified. We approved the portion that stopped at the last bill cycle. So this is the October portion.
7 days,
Mhm.
I think, it's 8 days.
Yeah,
I think they're on the call too if they want.
yeah, they are.
Also, what is, this is just, it was because it was
Yeah, just,
two different bill cycles.
And the bill cycle.
So
yeah,
this is just,
yeah.
yeah,
strict
well, just,
continuation.
so what, 110.97?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna make a motion to accept. Abatement for 110.97.
I second the motion. All in favor, Ed Johnson, aye.
Dave Mesmore, aye.
Motion carries. Abatement's approved.
so no, you guys are on the call. This will go to the sewer commissioners, which will be at whenever that next meeting is for select board. So I'll reach out to you guys tomorrow with the date and let you know when that is. Okay.
Hey, we got now Lisa Liptek, 8
Yeah.
Warren Lane.
Also on the call, and I know you're traveling, so thank you for joining us.
Yeah. No, I stepped out. It was important.
Okay, so what is there, what happened with them now?
Same thing, so they had a roughly 20 gallon an hour leak from October to March 29th.
Ooh.
And the leak did produce an alarm in our system, but it did not register on our report until March 24th. There's another one of those threshold
Yeah.
issues.
But there was a leak last year that.
Yeah, there was
and I don't think it,
yeah,
I
there
think
was-
it could resolve. I think it's a continuation of the same leak.
Yeah, we registered a leak in, I think, June of 2024. Which it looks like Christie sent out a blue card, but that was the only notice that we had of it.
Well, that one wasn't a leak in June. The one in June, I didn't realize, but I was trying to pressure wash the house and I didn't realize that that was gonna use up so much water. So,
Okay.
yeah, so that's what caused that one. But this one, I did not know that there was anything going on until I received the bill. And then I called right away and I, to inquire about why the bill was so high.
What was it, where was the leak?
I don't know where the leak was. Maybe there was a running toilet or something like that, but I didn't have any obvious signs of leakage anywhere.
Yeah, but you had it fixed though, right?
No, it just stopped running. Maybe it was a toilet leak or something like that.
Oh, so the problem hasn't been fixed then, Randy, then, correct?
No, it stopped because when I called, she said that it had stopped. So it must have just,
Use did return to normal on the 29th.
yes, use returned to normal. So maybe something was stuck or something. I don't know.
You gotta keep an eye on that because those do recur.
Yeah,
It just may not go away
right.
automatically. You gotta keep an eye on that.
Yeah,
Yes.
I will.
Sounds to me like a leaky toilet. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah,
Dave?
this is another one where I didn't account for the rounding up in census. So
Okay, so
the amount-
582.7 instead of,
582. Yeah,
yeah,
on the second
Oh,
page.
so it's 5.
yeah, 582.70, yeah.
Make a motion to accept the abatement for 582.70.
I second that. All in favor, Ed Johnson, aye.
Dave Mesmore, aye.
Okay, abatement approved, but Lisa, you gotta keep an eye on that, cause this sounds like you got a reoccurring problem.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, best thing to do is, just keep an eye on the toilet. That's usually number one place to look for. And you can put dye in the tank and the dye comes into the bowl, then you know it's your toilet leaking by. Cause a toilet uses a lot of water when they leak, okay?
Okay.
All righty, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Yep, have a good night.
Yep, you too. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. I'll reach out to you tomorrow, Lisa.
Okay, did you review the minutes of the last month's meeting?
I did, I reviewed the minutes and I make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
I second that. All in favor, Ed Johnson, aye.
Dave Mesmore, aye.
Okay, motion carries. All right, we got 9 elderly rate applications, 12 Woodland Ridge, 1 Brayton Drive, 5 Gargan Terrace, 12 Oak Street, 13 Oak Street, 129 Berkshire Avenue, 1 Rails End, 2 Rails End, and 22 Shore Road, and they all meet the requirements for the elderly rate application.
Except for
Except for-
22 Shore Road.
Huh?
22 Shore Road is a seasonal property.
22 Shore Road is what?
That's seasonal property.
Oh,
So it's not their full-time place of residence,
Mm.
which is one of the requirements.
I thought they were all,
No, just the last one, usually one is not.
okay. All right, so it would be 8. Meet all the requirements, Dave.
Make a motion to receive, accept
22 Shore Road.
8 elderly rate applications with the exception of 22 Shore Road.
Okay, second that. All in favor, Ed Johnson, aye. Motion carries.
Make a motion to reject the elderly rate application at 22 Shore Road.
Second that. Ed Johnson, aye.
Dave Mesmore, aye.
Okay, yeah, declined. All righty. Monthly commitments, we can go at that. Randy,
Okay, a few things. Town meeting is next Tuesday, May 20th. At the high school. I'll plan to be there, talk about any questions regarding the water department, the budget. So as far as financing goes, the dollars this year is kind of a low key. There are some warrant articles for bylaw changes and stuff like that, policies, but as far as equipment and
Yeah.
other items, capital expenses, they're
Yeah.
they're far and few between this year. Water bills were issued, and they are due next week, May 22nd. We did implement water restrictions on the 1st of May. We can talk about this in more detail in their new business,
Okay.
but this is based on the state declaration that we are continue to be in a drought. That declaration started in October last year, and every month it's been continued. So despite the stream flow levels in the Westfield River, they're still very high. You know, today they were about 3,500 cubic feet per second. So that we're still in a drought, and the drought committee is meeting on May 19th. I got an email today about this,
okay,
next Monday, so maybe there'll be some changes next week. We'll see.
okay,
We had some recent rains that may help. We have a water service leak on Robin Road. We're gonna fix that next week,
Good.
most likely on Wednesday. They all started working on the consumer comps report. That's due July 1st. And Time Bond is working on the vacuum excavations. This is hopefully the final piece of the lead service line inventory. They have 5 weeks scheduled in late June, early July to hopefully wrap that up.
okay.
And then Jeff Vitavelli is our backhoe inspector. He's been in town doing inspections as he did.
Okay. Okay. All right, work order summary, I saw that. Old business, Great American Rain Barrel Company.
Yeah, So we are up to 28 rain barrels
I see that.
ordered in
Yeah.
15 different locations. So successful.
Good, good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank
There you
you.
go.
Mrs. Calabac.
Yeah, yeah.
Order by day.
Yeah,
It's the 18th, and then pickup is at DPW the last day of May on the 31st from noon to 4, so I'm gonna be there making sure everyone gets the right rain barrels.
Yeah, I can be there too.
Sure.
So, since I caused all this.
Mhm.
Well, and I have a birthday party at my house, so I'm very away from that.
all right, okay. New business, Randy.
Just the water restrictions,
Yeah.
the handout we produce every year is
Yeah.
in there. Not really any changes on our end. Other communities are having to implement the restrictions this year, some of the local communities. Westfield is in restrictions and East Hampton is in restrictions based on that drought declaration. I think at the last meeting I mentioned that some other communities that draw from Springfield water are not required to go in restrictions right now. Springfield water got a 2-year waiver.
Right, right, you mentioned that last meeting, right?
So I guess that's where that stands. I don't know where it's gonna go next year, but we'll see. So I did reach out to DEP on Friday. So the last declaration came out last Friday. And if you remember last Friday, we had like 2 inches of rain. And I thought it's kind of odd that, and now this is coming out on Friday, that day of all this rain. How can this be? I've had some questions. You called me, Ed, asking, it doesn't make sense.
Right, I just.
So I reached out to DEP. I said, just my email here and the responses here, just for information, just basically, got some questions, how can this be? All the rain we've had over the past, 10 days prior to that.
Yep.
We had 6 inches in that 1 week and 14 inches of rain in the last 2 months, which is well above normal.
Right,
And so I asked, what's the rationale, or can you give me a response I can pass along? So they did that in email. This is from Dwayne Lemangi. He runs the Water Management Act program. And basically, a lot of it has to do with timing, because what they're saying is that when they're looking at the data, it's not up to date, as of that day. They're looking at the per month data. So they're looking, when they met it was during the week of the 9th, I think the Wednesday, the 7th, they met. They were looking at data through April 30th. So despite having, 5-6 days of rain the first week of May, that wasn't part of their discussion. Or just how they do it. So, but they did say that they were looking to have another meeting in the middle of May to see if that rain would help things. And so I did hear today that meeting was scheduled for the 19th. So we'll see.
it'll be it, huh?
Why do
Okay,
they need to have a meeting? I mean, it's just arithmetic.
There's,
How much rain do we know?
it's not just rain. That's one factor.
How much do we not, how much have we not gotten?
Yeah.
Oh.
They look at groundwater levels, they look at there's crop indices that they look at, they look at weather projections. I mean,
That's still all just data. It can run through, you can run it through your phone app and it can tell whether you're in a drought or not.
yeah,
And they gotta. I mean, if I had to come in once a month and discuss whether or not it's been raining, I'd be really annoyed. More annoyed than I am
yeah.
when I come in here and discuss whether or not it's been raining,
right,
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
So that's their protocol.
okay,
So that's what they're basing their decision on.
I mean, 40 years ago, yeah, that probably made
Right,
sense,
right.
but. Now all the data, you can get it on the evening news.
Mhm,
They
right,
can tell you where what kind of drought we're in, and they do regularly,
mhm.
so.
There are other monitors. The Environmental Drought Monitor is another
Yeah.
publication I look at, and that's updated every once a week. Every Thursday, the monitor comes out. And I didn't check today, but I did check last week's report, and our region was still in a drought per that monitor. And again, they may be looking at delayed data as well.
Yeah, see that? But that's not people discussing it, waiting 3 weeks and then discussing it. To decide whether or not we're in a drought or not.
Yeah. Yep.
It seems a little archaic to me, and I'm sure everybody Of course, when we're in a water restriction and it's raining, I don't see that it's that big a deal either.
Right,
So. I mean,
that's crazy, that's crazy.
yeah, it's just, the whole thing is getting irritating.
Yeah, it is, you know. The river's flowing like heck and, it's just,
Other systems are saying that the reservoirs are spilling over.
Yeah.
Literally spilling
the
over.
lakes, everything, they're out there.
There's
full.
flooding, groundwaters are saturated.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, the farmers can't get out there to plow their fields, they're saturated,
Yeah.
it's crazy,
yeah.
but can't
So-
fight City Hall, I guess,
But they'll talk about it on the 19th,
yeah.
Yep.
so.
They can't keep up to date, they're 2 weeks behind, crazy. All right. Anything else on the new business? Next meeting date, what do we got here, June?
So it'd be June 19th, but that's Juneteenth, which is a holiday, so we'd be
Yes,
looking at
yes.
the 26th.
That's not, oh, that is a holiday?
It is a state holiday.
Okay, June 26th then. How you doing for June 26th?
Well, I guess I didn't bring my phone in, so
Well, we'll go for June 26th and then we have to change it. Yeah,
I'm okay.
we'll change it. All right. Can I have a motion for adjournment?
Make a motion to adjourn.
I second that. All in favor of Johnson, aye.
I vote aye.
Meeting is adjourned.